what's good? How your day going? Morning, evening, night. Whenever you're watching this video, we're about to check out the BDSM thrill kill, the disturbing Brittany Killgore affair. Now, if you don't know what BDSM is, then don't feel left out, because I don't 100% know what it is. Dabbled in it here and there, but as far as fully going to understand it, don't 100% understand it. But however, we do got Google, so we are going to go over that a little bit here. I do know, from what I know off the top, I know it's like what, bondage, discipline, dominance. I don't remember. We're gonna look it up, whatever, right? But most of the time, from what I pick up from it is people who get a pleasure out of, you know, the physical restraint, or someone, let's say if I apply dominance over you during sex, or some people like to be dominated, whatever, right? Usually inside of these things though, you will have like a code word, a secret phrase, some way to end it, whatever, right? But it's basically, it looks like torture from the outside looking in, but hey, if these two people are consenting, they like it, it's what they want to do, then hey, go ahead and have a great time. But so within it, that's not what's happening. Now it may go much deeper than that. We are going to find out throughout this video, because I am going to try to educate myself on it a little bit. Might do a little bit here at the beginning, but let's wait to the end, because I'm gonna get to the story before we start talking your ears off, before I get to talking your ears off. But regardless, let's see what humans are up to. Brittany Killgore was getting ready to move home when she went on a date with Luis Perez and never returned. It appears Luis Perez had two other women in his life, Dorothy Maraglino, my bad if I said that wrong, and Jessica Lopez, and they all shared an interest. I take it this interest is going to be BDSM. Let's go ahead and find out what's going on though. Yo, you want to check out the original video? Link will be in the description below, but let's go.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video, we are going to look at a story together. A story of luring, a story of people not being who you probably think they are. Are they ever in my videos? Nope, I won't have it over my dead body. Year 2012, the place, San Diego, and the person telling the story, me. On a Friday, the 13th, I mean, come on. Brittany Killgore was going on a cruise. Was going, didn't go. Instead, there was this, like, little trio of PO, and they had their own, kind of little BDSM club, and you're invited. They weren't asking. Let's give this disturbing affair a go.
Willingly, so that means I misunderstood that description. I thought, I mean, they are going on a date, but yeah, he does lure them in, whatever, right? Or they, I should say. But I thought they were going to be all into it, but it was just like, this person just happened to get the short end of the stick, though. Like, you don't know what we're about to really do. Okay, I'm going to let the story finish then. Never mind. Oh, gosh.
In this old video, you know, to set the scene for you, we are hitting the bricks and we're going to a town called Fallbrook, CA. A town in which we've actually been before, if you remember the case of the McStay family. No joke, I feel like I'm learning more geography researching true crime than pretty much anything else. Touring the USA via murder tour that won't end anytime soon. So, Fallbrook. Can I just copy and paste what I said in the McStay video and just like put it in? Future Mike, just copy and paste that in. Nobody will notice. Wink. Edit that out.
I'm not aware of any other cases.
Alright. You know, there's a time for jokes, and there's a time for little skits and funny little dances attributed to certain motives that come up and up and up again, and I'll be damned if it's on that chapter. The town of Fallbrook is home to a little over 30,000 people. It's the avocado capital of the world, and it's about an hour north of downtown San Diego. If your love of avocados doesn't entice you to move there, maybe your love of US Camp Pendleton, where the Marines train, will. Don't know why that would entice you either, unless you were actually in the... Let's move on. Well, there, in 2012, lived Corey and Brittany Killgore. Corey was in the Marines, Brittany was his wife, and they were living on the base, having moved there from the town of Rolla, Missouri, 1,700 miles away. Before she was Brittany Killgore, she was Brittany Rest, growing up in a small town in Missouri. She was pretty introverted growing up, but a lot of fun when you got to know her. Corey Killgore and Brittany started dating after they met at church, and they hit the ground running. They matched well, they suited each other, like they were both kind of quieter people who had like kooky senses of humor. I don't know anybody who has that kind of humor. Only a few months into the relationship, marriage was already on the cards. Would you look at that? Sure, I suppose what else would you be doing? And it became official in 2010. Out of school, Corey, he signed up Brittany being his military wife.
My bad, I didn't go back. He threw me. I thought he was about to say something like some catfish-ish. ish. Some catfish shit happened is what I thought he was about to say. I couldn't say that with ish.
What else would you be doing? And it became official in 2010. Out of school, Corey, he signed up Brittany being his military wife. And his regular one too. Soon after, the pair were off together to Camp Pendleton, quite a ways away to be honest. Some people around the couple were actually quite concerned. I mean, they were both quite young. They had only known each other a couple of months before they married, and then they were like just married. They were coming from a small town, and now they were moving halfway across the country, you know, with none of these support systems they'd grown up with. But sure, you know, the military would look after them now. Or so they thought, because it turns out that marrying someone when you're like 18, 19, after only knowing them for 2 months and then moving across the country with them can be a bit of a dicey decision, to be honest. Who'd have thunk it? I wouldn't trust a new toaster after 2 months, let alone someone I'm supposed to be spending the rest of my life with. So what happened next was unsurprising. Divorce was on the cards quicker than you can say on the cards. I mean, you know, not literally, but it was pretty quick. There's paperwork and shit. Corey Killgore would get deployed to Afghanistan.
I'm sorry, that is dangerous to me too. I always looked at that way. I know a lot of people like, oh, it's so beautiful, they love each other. Marriage is so, I feel like it's so stronger than what a lot of people think it is, man. Shit, it scared me more than the love word. But yeah, 2 months, that's far too quick. Look, it may be some stories out there where it's like, yo, we met in 1 month and we're going 30 years strong and we're still in love. I know it's going to be a story out there exists, but overall, yeah, the odds of that happening, bullshit, dude. That's purely someone, in 2 months, that's purely someone reacting off of emotion, that love emotion, where it's like, oh my God, we're just so overjoyed in love and I know I can do anything without you and you can't do anything without me because we're just each other's world, we're complete, whatever. You feel like that when you first meet someone. Give it some time. Not saying give it some time and then purposely watch it die so you can end it. No, you may grow to be even stronger, or it may just be like, it's blah, but we still love each other. Let's still do whatever. But nah, I'm sorry, I'm not with that. We just met and we love each other that quick. Let's do it. Nah, bullshit.
Life with. So what happened next was unsurprising. Divorce was on the cards quicker than you can say on the cards. I mean, you know, not literally, but it was pretty quick. There's paperwork and shit. Corey Killgore would get deployed to Afghanistan, and when he was gone, Brittany decided, well, she didn't want to be there when he returned. She filed the paperwork, said California, it's been real, and then she booked a flight for the 17th of April 2012 to go back to Missouri. She was going home, you know, she had been there, she had done that, she had got the t-shirt, it hadn't worked, but shit happens. I mean, she was supposed to be going back to Missouri. That was the plan, but a plan that fell through. Brittany Killgore was last heard from on the 13th of April 2012. Friday the 13th.
Damn.
Her family, you know, expecting her, getting ready for her return, were unable to contact her in the days leading up to that flight she was supposed to be getting. No messages or calls were getting through, so worry spread. Then, Brittany's mother received a call from Brittany's phone. But the relief evaporated quicker than you can say evaporated, because it wasn't Brittany on the other end. It was some stranger who had just randomly found Brittany's phone in downtown San Diego and was calling, just a good Samaritan. He just said he randomly found her phone on the ground a good bit from where she lived. I mean, Fallbrook was about an hour away. That's when the police were called and a missing persons investigation began. Friends of Brittany were contacted. Alright, you know, what's the last anyone's heard from her? Let's get a timeline together. Well, it turned out that Brittany was due to be going on a dinner cruise with another active Marine named Luis Perez. After that, she vanished.
By the time I made it down over there, the boat had left already.
She decides to get off, and I'm like, okay, I'll go park the car and I'll be right back.
And I looked inside the glass front, like looked one side to the other side, and I didn't see her. So I just assumed she hooked up. They went elsewhere.
What he said happened was that, yeah, him and Brittany, they were going to go on a little dinner cruise, maybe a little dancing, but at the last minute plans changed. Instead, they drove down to downtown San Diego. They were just gonna, you know, grab some dinner somewhere. He was driving, they came across essentially the place they wanted to go.
Man, you were in the
she
middle
got
of-
out.
In the process, starting a process of a divorce, and you're moving. I'm not blaming her. She doesn't deserve to lose her life for the way she's moving, but you're moving too fast, man. I never understood these kind of people where it's like they always got to be messing with someone, or it's scary because there's always just motion going back and forth with different humans. You just see them coming in and out the picture. And legit, real quick, talk a little bit ish. I see it on my Facebook all the time with my family, some friends, whatever. It's like some girls are like, always just gotta have a dude. You like, oh, that's another dude, another dude, another dude. It's like every week. It's like, dog. It's like, we're so in love. We're doing this. I'm like, no, it's not. That shit about to be over next week. I hate to call it, but I see this pattern. I don't know how you're not seeing it. All right, I went back a bit. I went back too far. My bad. Oh, shit. I went back before the call. I want to hear the call one more time. And maybe she didn't go on a date with him because, I mean, obviously we did hear at the beginning that they are taking these people unwillingly. Maybe they just kidnapped her and that's the story they made up, but.
The dinner cruise. By the time I made it down over there, the boat had left already.
She decides to get off, and I'm like, okay, I'll go park the car and I'll be right back.
And I looked inside the glass front, like looked one side to the other side, and I didn't see her, so I just assumed she hooked up. They went elsewhere.
They hooked up.
What he said happened was that, yeah, him and Brittany, they were going to go on a little dinner cruise, maybe a little dancing, but at the last minute plans changed. Instead, they drove down to downtown San Diego. They were just gonna, grab some dinner somewhere. He was driving, they came across essentially the place they wanted to go. She got out, Brittany got out of the car, and he said, all right, I'll be 2 seconds, I'm just gonna go park the car, I'll be right back. And then when he got to the place she was, where they were gonna have dinner and drinks and stuff, well, he said that when he arrived, only a couple minutes after her, having parked the car, she was gone. He presumed she had just gone off, met someone else, you know what I mean? He got stood up, kind of. But yeah, he left it at that. The police didn't. Luis Perez was 45 years old and a staff sergeant. He had been an active member of the US Marines for about 16 years at this point. He had no criminal history and was married with a 13-year-old daughter, living on the base. Luis and his wife were acquaintances of the Killgores, not friends, but a fellow couple stationed at Camp Pendleton. They knew each other to see and had the occasional conversation. He quickly became a person of interest in the case, last known person and all that. The police actually managed to get a hold of him, a proper hold around him, quite quickly when they found an AR-15 in the back of his vehicle. An AR-15 that had been reported stolen. They booked him on that. The search for Brittany, then began. She could be anywhere from Fallbrook to San Diego, and that's a shitload of anywhere. The investigation into Luis Perez continued, trying to find any little break in the case. And one thing they found was his predilection for being naughty. A woman who had previously dated Luis Perez told the police that he had a system. It's like the Dennis system, only the Luis system. I'm gonna need a second to figure this out.
Wait,
let's move faster. But Luis was often on the hunt for vulnerable women, and then he would love bomb them and gradually introduce rougher and rougher pound time. Eventually getting full on.
Okay, so when they're vulnerable, like how we hear Brittany is at the moment. Again, I'm gonna let the story finish. I'm just going off the information I got from 8 minutes into the story. By the end of the video, things can change. But regardless, though, all right, so see that she's going through a divorce, whatever. So probably, she is vulnerable. So let me kind of move in a bit. And who knows, coming from a marriage, coming from a relationship in general, when you're with someone, I would say for a while, even though they were not together for a while, when you're tied to that one person, sometime when you are set for, you do want to try things like, all right, I feel like the handcuffs are off. I want to get freaky in this motherfucker. I don't know, dog. We just gotta watch the video, man. Okay. Oh shit.
Figure this out. Let's move faster. But Luis was often on the hunt for vulnerable women, and then he would love bomb them and gradually introduce rougher and rougher pound time. Eventually getting full on into BDSM. Nothing wrong with that. But Luis,
there's nothing wrong with BDSM.
Seemed less interested in the whole "we're having fun together" part. He wouldn't take. Seemed less interested in, the whole "we're having fun together" part. He wouldn't take no for an answer, so I guess he was into role-playing, just minus the role. and minus the
I was
plane.
just about to say
At
minus
one
the
point, the police would find a video of Lois, who went by Ivan when he was in character.
Ivan
A video of him beating a woman with various items, right? And she was begging him to stop.
Like Ivan the Terrible.
Who went by Ivan when he was in character. A video of him beating a woman with various items, right? And she was begging him to stop, but he kept beating her, and then when she was unconscious,
Yeah,
he
that's
didn't stop. See, Lewis had a life on the base with his kid and his wife, and he also had a girlfriend named Dorothy Maraglino, and the whole dungeon master stuff. The police quickly learned of his BDSM partner, like
well, we just not gonna zoom past the pictures. Hold on 1 second. So is this her hair, like a ponytail? I can't make out what's going on here. But I'm not being funny. Like he's making her give the bear head, because this is a bear right here, and this is like he got about a hair, and you just probably her ass in the air because it's blurred out. So, because what I'm taking is, because from wife, of course, I got my limits, but it's like, oh shit, I want to go a little past that limit, but this is my wife, so I don't want to kill her. But, or do you say girlfriend? I'm gonna go back and listen. But with someone else, it's like, so it just look like he's enjoying applying dominance over her at the moment, because I mean, like she's down on her knees, whatever. But basically, you are below me. As I look over you, you look up to me. Honestly, when both parties are consent with it, when both parties agree, I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. Yo, this is what we like doing. This is what we like doing. Don't worry about what we do behind closed doors.
Maraglino, and the whole dungeon master stuff. The police quickly learned of his BDSM partner. Like, so his wife and kid had no idea about this whole other side to him. His whole rough gimp suit side.
So
Dorothy...
he didn't do it with his wife. Oh, he only done this with other women, but with his wife, it was probably just sex. Okay. Oh, let me go back. Okay.
And the whole dungeon master stuff. The police quickly learned of his BDSM partner. Like, so his wife and kid had no idea about this whole other side to him. His whole rough gimp suit side. Dorothy Maraglino was like his alpha bitch. I don't know what you call it. The police realized he was keeping these two lives completely separate. One was a clean spick and span, the other was all this stuff. So they went and they searched Dorothy Maraglino's house, and it was chock-a-block with, chains and whips and all sorts of instruments for sticking in all sorts of holes. They even found another woman living in that house who was renting it with Dorothy. Dorothy Maraglino's house. And it was chock-a-block with, chains and whips and all sorts of instruments for sticking in all sorts of holes. They even found another woman living in that house who was renting it with Dorothy. Her name was Jessica Lopez. She lived in the dungeon in the basement. She slept in the closet. It seems Jessica had entered a contract with her roomie, Dorothy, and likely Luis Perez too, and was the slave in the triangle. She was the, quote, money bitch. For Luis, this was just something he did on weekends, let the hair down, get the gimp suit out, stretch. For Dorothy and Jessica, though, they weren't no tourists. This was a lifestyle. This was their whole life, 24/7. Jessica had to wear a dog collar around her at all times and was like the slave, had to clean up and do all this sort of shit. It also seemed that Brittany kind of knew Dorothy, or at least she had been to her house a few times. As Dorothy and Brittany, they had a mutual friend. Dorothy did not like Brittany at all. She called her the disease and the herpes.
Damn.
The police had both Brittany's phone, from the stranger who found it, and also Lewis's phone. And when those two phones were analysed, it was determined that neither of them left Fallbrook the night of. Lewis went to Brittany's, picked her up, and then brought her to Dorothy's. The phone then went to San Diego, sometime later. But why? Why did Brittany go with Lewis? They barely knew each other.
Yeah,
well, what happened was this, and it was all very sudden. In the days leading up to Friday the 13th of April, Brittany, she was packing up her house, getting ready to move back to Misery. And Lewis rocked up, and he was like, hey, listen, maybe you want to go on a dinner cruise with me? He was shooting his shot. And Brittany said, no. So then he said, well, here, listen, how about I'll help you pack up all your shit, right? If you just go on a dinner cruise with me. She said, no. So then,
Damn, yep, really saw opportunity. Not gonna lie, as a man, been there, reached for it. Yo, but I ain't did anything crazy, dog. Ain't nothing crazy on my record. Every woman I've ever slept with, it's all. Look, both parties like, yeah, you agree, I agree. Don't play with me. But either way it go, dog. I understand what he's doing. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's just bullshit because it's like the intention behind it. It's like I'm wondering at this point now, like, okay, did it go this way now because she was declining me because, you know, some people just can't fucking take no, or was it like regardless it was just gonna go this way? This is where I was gonna take it. I'm gonna let it finish. What the hell? I was just wondering because we hear a lot of these stories where a lot of time it's because people can't take rejection. Like, oh, here we go.
right, if you just go on a dinner cruise with me. She said, no. So then he
This is
said,
making
all
more
right,
sense
listen,
now,
you
okay.
go out for dinner with me, and tomorrow morning I will have 5 Marines here ready, big strong lads that'll come up and they'll pack all your shit, be done in no time. So then Brittany said, for fuck's sake, alright, yeah, whatever, let's go. Brittany texted...
You're trying to put that image in her head, but have all these hot Marines in the house for you, trying to get you aroused. Oh, this is fucking weird. Boy, niggas ain't shit.
Done in no time. So then Brittany said, for fuck's sake, alright, yeah, whatever, let's go. Brittany texted Dorothy, even as she knew Dorothy and Lewis were together, and she was like, hey, listen, do you mind if I go? And Dorothy said, yeah, go, don't mind, you know, I'm feeling sick, so go. All that. She went. I can't imagine she was feeling too good about it, because Brittany told friends she didn't really want to go. She had a bad feeling about Lewis, and literally, you know, after getting in his car with, you know, their CCTV, 10 minutes after this,
Gotta go with
Brittany
that
sent
first.
one text to a friend that read, help. She was never heard from again. This friend tried calling Brittany that night and received texts back. Texts
okay?
saying she was having a great time partying and couldn't come to the phone. And the flight she was supposed to be on came and then went.
Damn. That's some bullshit.
The investigators went back to Lewis's car and they found bloody bags and bloody gloves. It was Brittany's blood. Also, a stun baton was located too, with both Lewis and Brittany's DNA on it. Things were looking very bad. It seemed Brittany had been knocked out with that yoke and then God knows what. So then around this time, a couple of days into the investigation, Brittany missing for a couple of days, Lewis in custody, both Dorothy and Jessica fled that house. The police were doing a search of it and they were nowhere to be found.
That is fucked up.
The next day, at a Ramada Inn, not too far away, the police got a sighting. It was either Jessica or Dorothy, and you know, hopefully Brittany was still alive, maybe even with them. When the police busted into the room, they found it was Jessica. She had cut herself all over. There was blood everywhere. It looked like she had tried to kill herself, skipping the wrists and just going everywhere else. In the bathroom, there was a note, reading, "Pigs, read this." Beside was a 7-page letter, it seemed written by Jessica, describing Brittany Killgore as a miserable C-U-nt, and then saying the police had arrested the wrong fucking person, which, meaning Lewis. It told the entire story, but essentially it came down to this. Brittany was brought there by Lewis, and she wouldn't go down without a fight, and it was Jessica who said she strangled Brittany to death. She then dumped her body in Lake Skinner, which is about a 45-minute drive northeast of Fallbrook. Brittany was found at Lake Skinner shortly afterward.
Got a call from the San Diego County Sheriff's Department, and they tell me that the San Diego coroner has positively identified the body that was found yesterday in Riverside County as that of Brittany Killgore, age 22. Her husband, several days ago, was contacted on duty in Afghanistan. He's with an artillery unit. When he was placed on emergency leave, started the process of heading back to the United States. When he started that process, it was a missing persons case. Now, even before he's arrived back in the United States, his estranged wife is confirmed to be dead. One person is in custody on murder charges.
And I bet
a
he
woman,
still hurt, even though they were getting a
22-year-old.
divorce, man. Because still, not all relationships end on bad terms, though.
One person is in custody on murder charges, a woman, 22-year-old Jessica Lopez. Another potential suspect arraigned today. That is 45-year-old Luis Perez. He has pled not guilty to unrelated charges, but sheriff's investigators say they are continuing their investigation into the circumstances of Brittany Killgore.
It looked like she'd been tortured for some time before her death with some of the various items that would have been in the dungeon. Her body was found with ligature marks around her neck, and so she had been strangled to death, and it seemed like someone had tried to cut her up, chop her body up, but had given up halfway. The day Brittany went missing, which was April the 13th, also happened to coincide with Jessica's birthday. The police then...
Gotta add, damn. So it's Friday the 13th, Jessica's birthday. She was dipping. What the hell? Almost like this shit was premeditated.
Also happened to coincide with Jessica's birthday. The police then, started to theorize that maybe Brittany was a present for Jessica. Jessica, Dorothy, and Lewis were all into the BDSM lifestyle, but at some point it just wasn't enough. They had to keep, pushing the boundaries, but role-playing just wasn't cutting it anymore. They had to do it for realsies. So they had Lewis and Jessica in custody. Jessica was in hospital, but she was swiftly discharged. Her injuries were not life-threatening. It seemed like she had just tried to cut herself up, maybe I'll get off on this. But Dorothy was still missing, and it turned out they had just missed her. The Ramada Inn where Jessica was found, well, CCTV showed Dorothy had been there. Dorothy may have even really been the ringleader.
Damn.
She certainly was the alpha dog. Dog-faced beast would be more like it.
Duh.
For example, all over the house were signs and messages saying, do this, do that. Toilet paper goes this way. Lights off this way. All, the sort of shite that would drive you nuts. Completely controlling.
I was about to say,
and then it seemed like maybe, Dorothy had forced Jessica to write that note incriminating herself for doing it. Jessica was her bitch, forcing her to take the blame for the entire affair. But where was she now? She was across the country.
Because that would explain, like, all right, let me write this letter of confess and everything as I try to take myself out. Because you would think, like, if I'm gone, then all right, well, you got who did it, but you can't arrest who did it because they're gone.
But where was she now? She was across the country, and police called her.
I'd like to talk to you and see what was going on.
Okay.
Was Brittany ever at the house that night?
I did not see her at the house.
You sure about that?
Yeah. So, how many times you had the question? I'm not going to give you a change my answer.
Dorothy had gone all the way to Virginia and then disappeared. The police were unable to track her down for a few weeks, and when they finally relocated her, she was back in San Diego, staying at a hotel near the airport.
Also happening right now, 3
from
defendants
home.
charged with the brutal murder of a 22-year-old Marine wife are in court, accused of kidnap, torture, and sexually assaulting Brittany Killgore to death.
Ivan, the master, Maraglino, the sub-mistress, and Lopez, their slave.
All were in custody, charged with murder, torture, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, and attempted sexual battery.
Prosecutors say the sadistic, sadomasochistic murder of Brittany Killgore was motivated by sexual and emotional fantasies of 3 disturbed people who are practicing a slave master bondage lifestyle.
Rape the women, destroy their reputation, take their possessions, when you deem, take their last breath. These are words that were written by the defendant on the day of the kidnapping, and therefore the motion to dismiss all counts is dismissed.
It was a last-ditch effort by Dorothy Margalino to have her case dismissed by a judge before the murder trial begins. Margalino was arrested in May of 2012, along with Marine Luis Ray Perez and Jessica Lopez, for the kidnapping, torture, and sexual battery of a 22-year-old wife of another Marine who was at the time serving in Afghanistan. Prosecutors say the 3 accused lured Brittany Killgore to go out with Perez on a dinner cruise that never happened, and the young woman would never be seen alive again.
Damn, man.
The trial began in 2015. All three of them,
Let me use my water
Lewis...
real quick. But at the beginning, I ain't gonna lie, though. I did think she was about to just jump in that dating water right over again. So definitely, like I said, towards the end, my story would my output would definitely change as I get the full story. But as I'm watching the story, if this is one I don't know about, like this one, then yeah, I can only watch it and put together what I'm getting from what I gather from this information. Damn, but yeah, nope. And again, that was like what people were speculating happened, that she was like kind of blinding him off, whatever. But he kept pushing. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I feel like that's really how it went though, cause it makes sense. Like you would think you would learn jumping into marriage real quick. Like, man, all right, let me chill out for a bit. I'm about to go home too. Like, yeah, no, what good would this date do me? As the man side though, I can't say I can see how what good it would do me, because yeah, I ain't gonna lie, horny. Been trying to get some more meow before I dip out. Stupid, I know, but hey, it's how we move. What a freaking
The trial
story,
began
man.
in 2015.
Supposed to be your
All
friend,
three
too.
of them, Lewis, Dorothy, and Jessica, were tried together. The prosecution's evidence was really circumstantial about what happened that night, what exactly happened. But they had a fair idea, and all were involved. While the defense was saying Lewis and Dorothy were out of the house when Jessica killed Brittany. Sure, Jessica even wrote the letter herself. But Jessica was also a patsy. And Lewis, after all, was the one who kidnapped her and left her there, but Dorothy was in control of the entire operation. That makes as much sense as it sounds, but that's what the defense was trying to do. You know, each one, like all three were on trial at the same time, but each had their own lawyer, and all were saying, oh no, the other person did it though. Oh no, the other person did it though. Oh no, the other person did it though.
Defense attorneys disputed whether Killgore was ever inside the Fallbrook house with a sex dungeon like this one, where the prosecutor says she died.
There's no DNA, there's no hair, no skin cells, there's nothing in the house. There's absolutely no evidence that anything happened in that house.
Lopez's attorney claims the suicide note she wrote was to protect her master and mistress and was a coerced confession.
It was a circle of blame, but no matter what, all were involved. All three were found guilty.
Just gotta let them talk.
Each received life without the possibility of parole.
And the thing with a story like that, this is definitely one of those stories. It feels like because I didn't get anything on the interrogation side, but it just sounds like one of those stories. The more you just let that person talk, they'll just keep digging the hole deeper and deeper, and it's like, yeah, you all are just setting each other up and don't even know it. That's what it feel like. That's how I'm picturing the interrogation. When it's like, yo, because they're all just pointing the finger anyway. It's like, I don't know, I was trying to help him or her, or that person did it, or I'll just let them keep going. What? So what happened?
All three were found guilty. Each received life without the possibility of parole.
Woo.
I would like to take this time to thank my family and those friends that stood by me during this horrible and trying time. I appreciate your prayers, your love, and your compassion. I will never forget your kind words of encouragement. Those that know me know I have never raised my hand in anger at another soul. To those that at best turn their back on me, I have nothing but love and forgiveness for you. I forgive you all.
And Brittany never got to go home. And that ends this whole story. It's a sad one of monsters out there. Trust your gut, I guess, is kind of like a lesson to take out of this one, because Brittany had a real bad feeling about Lewis, and it ended badly for her. What really happened that night? Maybe we'll probably never really know.
I know.
The extent, probably never want to know. But that ends this whole video, so...
Man, the fact that no DNA was found in there, though, for real, it was like trippy.
Oh, one final thing.
Oh, wait.
Dorothy Margalino, in prison, became a writer, you guys.
Of course.
She is the proud author of My Inside Voice. Ooh. Available on Kindle for only...
The poems, letters, and short stories will give you insight on the journey of myself and thousands of others that include experiencing birth, death, illness, joy, and despair while locked away from family and friends. The voice of this book echoes the voices of thousands of others who share these same experiences. The emotion is raw as I open up. Be prepared to laugh, cry, be outraged, motivated, and no occasion hopeful. I don't get it. Damn, that mug got one rated. They gave that motherfucker 1 star. Who bought that shit? They said, hey, dog, let me get my money back. Amazon. It's crazy to me because I can't help but picture, because I'm not gonna lie, as I was watching real quick, let me go off track real quick. This is the end of the video anyway. the way he was reading that letter, I never understood that when I watch people in these situations where it's like, all right, I did something or I allegedly did something, right? So I'm going to express my feelings to you all, but let me read it all paper. I always felt like, never been in that position, whatever, but I always felt like, yo, if I really feel this way, can I just spill this out? This is how I feel. I don't know. Maybe it's something I don't know. But back on track, whatever though, right? Bam. So again, the way he was reading that letter, I can't help but to think like, all right, you know what? I don't think the intent was to kill. I really don't. Just hear me out. Let me finish, whatever, right? I don't think they were out to just like kill, but I do feel like they were looking for that person that they can just go a little past the top over. No, hella past the top over, where it's like we're just pushing our limits, and then some shit went south, because it definitely sounds like this fetish got. My bad, dang old camera died, and I don't know where it died at, but either way it go, like I was saying, just to wrap it up, I do feel like Brittany was basically that person that was going to be used as this test dummy, where it's like, all right, we're going to go ahead and go past the line with you and just see if we can go ahead and get that little itch we're looking for, but I think it exceeded a little too far past that line, which resulted in her life, which is BS.
She is the proud author of My Inside Voice. Ooh. Available on Kindle for only 15 of your dollar dues. It was published in 2022, and the blurb describes it as, "The poems, letters, and short stories will give you insight on the journey of myself and thousands of others that include experiencing birth, death, illness, joy, and despair while locked away from family and friends. The voice of this book echoes the voices of thousands of others who share these same experiences. The emotion is raw as I open up. Be prepared to laugh, cry, be outraged, motivated, and on occasion, dun dun dun, hopeful." It is only one review, 1 star, womp. It seems she's actually written a few articles and blog posts about how shitty it is in solitary confinement. Sucks for her. Or, you know what, if you're feeling adventurous, you can write her in prison. Her loves being, imagine sunsets and long walks along the cell block. I am a 47-year-old journalist and author in prison. Like self-described on both accounts, I guess. I'm a textbook Gemini, classic Gemini, and I've learned to embrace all sides of myself. That's what got you in here, for fuck's sake. In the past, I was a preacher's kid, and now I am a prisoner. In the past, I was a corporate trainer, project manager for a Fortune 400 tech company, and now I am an inmate clerk making 11 cents an hour. I'm not ashamed of the past or the present. It is simply parts of me. Yeah, I think though you might want to be ashamed of it. That's kind of like the whole thing. I feel like she's missing the point of what she did and why she's where she is. She's manipulating this whole story just like she did Jessica Lopez. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with me watching this whole video. It means a lot, so thanks. And I'll see you all.
And again, like you said, that was a story a lot of people were putting together saying how they figure it went down. She didn't want to go. She was kind of avoiding them. Because that means you're going to have a handful of people who's going to think different. Basically what I was thinking at the beginning. Some people probably still finish thinking like that with it, right? And you can, like I said, these are stories where we don't have all the pieces to the puzzle. So the only thing we can do is kind of theorize and speculate, like, this is what feel like what happened, whatever, right? But regardless, at the end of the day, we all do not know unless you were actually there, whatever. But me personally, I'm strongly leaning on the I think she was avoiding it. It was like, you know what? I probably really could use these strong dudes to help move. And then again, and you know what? I'll take that back. I don't think he used those 5 strong Marine men as a way to make her feel like, ooh, I'm trying to play with your mental there a little bit. I think he did that because knowing she's a woman and, you have to move. Everyone freaking hate moving. Like, yeah, I'm gonna have 5 strong muscle guys where they're Marines legit. This is gonna be light to them. Pick up, get that out of here. So of course she probably would have bit the bait at that one. Like, all right, yeah. Because with with me reading the description as she went on the date, I ain't gonna lie, it was pissing me off. I'm like, oh my gosh, as I'm hearing the story, like you're getting a divorce and you already happened too fast. Now you're going on a date. Yeah, BS, whatever, right? But yeah, she really could have used that option. Again, that's still BS on his end because he was just I guarantee he was just looking for every little bait he can throw out there. Like, all right, well, I see you need this in life. I see you need this in life. I see you need this in life. Basically, get where I'm going with that, whatever, right? Yeah, that one would have been a good one to bite. Not gonna lie, I hate moving my damn self. If you offer me some free movers, all right, shit, fuck it, dog. Let's go get a burger or something, dog. Damn, what a story though. But yo, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here and enjoy my day again. I know I said it a million times, but it's definitely rest in peace to Brittany. The reason why I keep saying it, because I feel like even though that was an early, I'm sorry, last thing to talk about, even though that marriage happened early and ended early, I don't know, for some strange reason, I just picture in my head both sides still doing good. Like, all right, you know what, we not ended on bad terms. I again don't know 100%, but it was just, I kept looking at them like, man, I think they are actually good people. It's probably some shit that didn't work. They both was just like, man, F it, call it off. And life would have just went on, been still dope for them. But I don't know. Either way, let me go ahead and stop talking and just wrap this video up. Yo, enjoy your day, morning, evening, night. Go with that first gut. I'm telling you, that first instinct, go with it. But I'm out.